10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, we are back with another edition of the Rising Coaches Member Spotlight. And today we are joined by Sterling Johnson of Northwestern Ohio University. Sterling, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Thanks for having me. First time, being on the Member Spotlight. So it's definitely a pleasure.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you being on. What's going on today? How are you?
Man, everything is good, man. We actually had 6 a.m. practice this morning. So I've been up for a while. It's 11 o'clock, my time at least. So it probably feel like 3, 4 o'clock, but I'm pretty good.
So is the 6 a.m. practices, is that like a daily thing for you guys, or is this a random?
It's not a daily thing. It's every Wednesday. We usually go at 6, just because of gym scheduling and whatnot. Prior, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks ago, we probably were going about 3 or 4 days a week at 6 a.m., but not as much since we've been doing team. So
we had one season when I was coaching at SEMO where we went 6 a.m. every day. Oh, it was rough.
It's tough. Yeah, where I played, we went at 6 a.m. every day for about 3 years into my senior year. So it's tough getting used to for sure. Yeah.
So what time are you at the gym?
About 5:15. About 5:15.
That's about as early as you can get there.
No, yeah, I'm not getting there at 4. I don't think my pride will let me get in there at 4, but who knows? Maybe one day if I'm under somebody and we going at 5, I guess I may have to meet in the middle. So
yeah, no doubt. No doubt. You do what you got to do, but
you got to, yeah.
It's hard when you're getting up before the sun and you're in the gym before the sun. Then you leave practice and it's like, whoa, it's daytime.
Exactly. I mean, especially right now because of, we don't change the time yet, but the sun is even coming out later. So yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Part of it though.
Part of it. Yeah. Well, Sterling, tell us a little bit about your background, man. Tell us where you're from, how you got into basketball and then how you got into coaching.
No doubt. Yeah. So I'm originally from right outside Detroit. I went to Warren D. LaSalle High School. Graduated there in 2011. And then from there, I played my college ball at Saginaw Valley State in the GLIAC. Graduated there in 2016. My senior year, we won the league. We won the GLIAC. Went to the Division II Elite Eight.
Yeah, that's a great program. Like every year, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, past couple of years they've had their hiccups, but Coach Bruce, who was there when I was there, he brought in a pretty good group, and they did a pretty good job, man, of consistently, at least when I was there, and a couple years after, of just really nailing away. So I had a really good experience, and pretty much, man, I kind of always knew I wanted to get in coaching. I guess when you're probably junior, senior year of college, you really start, narrowing down, okay, man, what am I going to do? I guess from like a profession standpoint. And that's pretty much when I knew that I wanted to get in college. So once I graduated, like I said, in 2016, I then went to Defiance College, Division III school in Defiance, Ohio. I spent 3 years there as an assistant, also got my master's there, then left Defiance last fall, which was 2019, summer of 2019, fall of 2019. And ever since then, I've been at UNOH, Northwestern Ohio. We're an NAIA program out of Lima. We bring everybody back from a team that we made our conference tournament. That was the first time for us in 3 years. So we're pretty excited what we have going forward. And, hopefully we can have as much as a traditional season as possible. We get to showcase what we have. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you guys have been, NAIA has been like full go, right? From the beginning. There's been no delay or
far.
anything.
Yeah, so far. I mean, a lot of it's more institution based. So whereas like you see a lot of NCAA Division I, Division II, even Division III, the NCAA, they're having these guidelines, even JUCO. For us, man, I mean, you had games last weekend. I mean, it was a school in our league. They played last week, and I got to watch them Saturday. So as of now, man, yeah, until we hear otherwise, we're going. Now for us, our first game actually was supposed to be a few days ago, but our school president, he decided to, he didn't want to go so early. So instead, tentatively, I think our first game, I want to say November 28th.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. All right, Sterling. Well, let's go back to you as a player. You got to give us a scouting report.
Man, all right, yeah, no doubt. So I was a role player for 4 years, man. And I really prided myself on, don't turn the ball over and shoot when I was open. So man, not that it doesn't happen, but me, a former point guard myself, man, just like any coach, hate to see anybody turn the ball over. But that was just my role, man. And as a young guy, you of course you want to be the best player, but that was just something that as I matured and I just just sort of embraced that role. So that was me. I like to think, man, I can shoot with the best of them, but that's maybe just me bragging a little bit. But yeah, that was me. That was me as a player in college.
Okay, so you're not turning the ball over. You're a solid point guard that can shoot.
I did turn it over, but hey, I would have heard a lot from it if I did.
So are you shooting off the bounce, or you're just more catch and shoot?
I like to say both.
Did you have the green light? Let me put it this way: did you have the green light?
I didn't have the green light. I wish I had the green light, but I didn't have the green light. So
okay.
But I mean, it was respected enough where if I didn't shoot, I probably would have heard that too. So I mean, that was my job, to knock down open threes.
For sure. Yeah. So tell us about the first opportunity to coach at the D3. Was it Defiance College? Is that where?
Yep.
Yeah. How did you get that opportunity, and what did you kind of learn from that? Yeah,
man, I learned a lot, man. So basically, how that sort of formulated was, as a player or someone, once I was graduating, I didn't really understand how competitive the coaching industry or business was, just even to get your foot in the door. So, I talked to some schools in regards of opportunities. They just didn't fall through. So I actually was working at Quicken Loans for about 3 months. And I was like, all right, I may do this for a year and then get into coaching the next. And I basically hated it. I couldn't stand it. So every day when I'm supposed to be selling loans or mortgages or whatever, I was just looking for opportunities. So I kind of got connected with Scott Cutter, who's the current head coach over there. And, he gave me an opportunity fresh out of college. And it was definitely a learning experience. I think that first year is always so unique from a player to coach because, you want to make it seem like, you don't really understand, for one, that, okay, these guys, or for one, I'm not a player anymore. I'm now a coach. And I like to say, like, the social aspect, I was pretty fine with that. But just my delivery and how I maybe sort of articulated things, or maybe how I explained something, even as far as if it was a drill or, from scouting reports, and just sort of flipping that switch from a professional standpoint, that a lot of that stuff, man. And even now, I'm obviously still a young coach, but those first couple years, especially that first year, that definitely gets some used to. And then obviously at the Division III level, you can't offer scholarship or any scholarship, money. So me, coming from a scholarship level, even the NAI, we can offer some funding. That was something that, also took some adjusting for me to do. And honestly, I think, some you can fight it. Some may think it's easier. Some may think it's more challenging. I like to think it's more challenging, especially if you're not at a super high level institution. So, that's just some of it how it is, man, when you just recruiting at the Division III level. But at the same time, I kind of felt like I was like an admissions counselor, because I mean, I'm learning all this stuff in regards to the FAFSA and EFC, all this stuff that I probably wouldn't have learned if I was at a higher school, maybe as a graduate assistant, etc. So that was just something that even now, me just being at the NAIA level, like I'm so hands on with just on school operations. It's not just solely basketball. Um, so like I said, yes. So then last year I got the UNOH, Northwestern Ohio, and now after from being in Defiance for 3 years, working kids as far as a recruiting standpoint, being able to, you know, recruit them and hey, we can offer you money now. We have several guys that's not paying anything. So from a recruiting standpoint, I love that. Also at the Division III level, certain months we can only work with our kids. That was just something that personally for me, it was really challenging. And that took some getting used to, because once our last game was over, I couldn't touch them till next October 15th.
Right.
So that's something too, like at the NAIA level, our governing body, they're much more lenient when it comes to that. So, I mean, obviously COVID messed up a lot last spring and this past summer, but we've been going just like you said. So that's something that I like. And I think from a player development, the players like that also. So
yeah, absolutely. Hey, you mentioned something that I want to go back to in terms of you said you felt like an admissions officer. You were going through transcripts and learning how to do all that. And that's a great point, man. Like we always talk about, you got to find your niche in this profession in a way to stand out. And we usually talk about it like, okay, there's like people who are great at recruiting, player development, people that find their niche through video, through graphics, but every staff needs a transcript person, right?
yeah,
Like you always like, no matter what level you're at, you're going to find a kid that you're like, man, we really need to look at these classes, figure out what they need to take. And so that's another great way to like stand out and be valuable within a coaching staff. So
no doubt. And I mean, like I said, I just think it's one of the pros, man, of just, working and being at small college basketball, whether, I stay here for 30, 40 years or whether I, climb up the ladder and maybe I'm at the Division I level at one point, what I'm doing here as an assistant coach, we only have, and we're fortunate. I mean, we have 3 guys on staff. Some smaller schools, they may only have 2, or even some other smaller schools, they may have 1 head coach and maybe a part-time, or, 1 head coach and, let's say 2 volunteer guys or 1 volunteer guy. So we're actually pretty fortunate in those regards. But yeah, man, I can speak for all those small college coaches. I mean, we know, man, we get our hands dirty. We do a lot, but it's part of the job, and I mean, we do it because we love it. So
Sterling, do you like in terms of like career aspirations, is there a certain level you want to coach at, or are you just kind of taking it day by day?
Yeah, I mean, I like to coach at the highest level. If that was something I was presented with one day in my career, that's a goal of mine. That's a dream of mine. I'm sure just like a lot of people in the profession. And I know part of the reason why I joined Rising Coaches was to continue to network, get my name out there, but also meet other people. I have social media, obviously, but I'm not the biggest. I don't use my Twitter every day. I don't tweet. I honestly don't even remember the last time that I have tweeted. But I understand that networking is part of not only this profession, but any profession really. And like I said, that was part of why I even joined Rising Coaches. So like I said, thanks for having me, but I like to coach at the highest level.
Yeah, absolutely. What's some of the stuff that you've done there at University of Northwest Ohio to kind of get that program turned around and create that winning culture?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year, man, so my first year here, we had 4 injuries in the fall. We had 2 ACLs, we had a meniscus, and then we actually had a guy, man, we thought he had colon cancer. His stomach was all messed up. And all 4 of those guys were front court players. So we played a whole year last year with one guy 6'7" in the paint. And I mean, when he went out the game, we only had really 6'5". So we played it was only 4 guards at minimum was on the court. at all times. But even when Justin kept, who was our 5-man last year, when he went out, it was times we were playing, 5 guards. So one thing, man, we started off really slow. And one thing that that I at least tried to bring to our program's attention, it was like, it was tough for us to just sit down and guard guys in the half court. Because I mean, a lot of teams, I mean, it's simple. They just going inside. And even when they're not going inside, I mean, they get, long shot, long rebound, and they get killing us on offensive rebound. So one thing that I tried to incorporate was just trying to play a little bit more faster than what we were playing. And that just, just meant either whether for us full court press, and one of the things we did was we incorporated the diamond. And obviously everybody is familiar with the diamond, but prior to last year, I'm not sure how much we ran it, and it's just helped us funk the game up a little bit more possessions. We play a little bit more faster. With that too, we trapped a lot of ball screens, just also making the game a lot more faster than what we were previously doing. So we finished 9-7 to end the year. And I mean, that says a lot compared to how we started the year. And I mean, we didn't win a game in conference, and we ended up clinching the conference tournament. So towards the end of the year, so that was a very big deal compared to how we started the year. And aside from just the XO standpoint, I mean, last year was my first year, so just really getting a gauge for not only my head coach, Coach Williams, Caleb Williams, who's a phenomenal head coach, man. He's a younger guy. I love working for him. But also just me getting acclimated with the school, with the players. I just really tried to bring energy every day, the best way I could, just so I can gain that trust with coach, but the players too. So going into my second year, man, I think I did at least a decent job of, they know who I am. Me, obviously I'm not faking, but them just understanding like, hey, coach has my back. He has the back of the program, and he's going to do anything that, to help us succeed. So that was just some of the things, man. And, a lot of that stuff, from whether it's an XO standpoint or not, we've got going forward to my second year. So like I said, man, we're excited, and, we see where it takes us.
I love it. Okay. Last thing, you mentioned the diamond, which piqued my interest there because I'm a big believer in it. We ran it at Clemson under Oliver Purnell.
Okay.
Won a lot of games doing that. I'm just curious, like, number one, are you guys like 3/4 court? Are you on the ball, like making it hard to inbound? And then number two, like, was there any particular like program that you guys studied or tried to watch on film to learn, how to play that style?
Good question. Yeah. So just make sure that I answer all your questions. So it's crazy because we weren't the longest team last year. We had some decent sized wings, but like I said, we had not much depth in our front court at all. So the way we did it, we put someone on the ball. It was full court. We put someone on the ball, and our biggest thing was we wanted to just really emphasize, take away that next pass. We want to force the long skip. So, I mean, you're not going to get a steal every time, but if that can take 2 to 3, 4 seconds off the shot clock, then previously, if we just were going to sit down and lock up 3/4 man, we thought that we were doing our job. Now, fortunately for us, we did generate a lot more turnovers than we were previously, and that helped us offensively. We didn't really emulate anyone. We didn't really emulate anyone. Just a lot of it really came from our own background knowledge. Just what we seen, what we played. And like I said, it worked. Now this year, hopefully we're a lot better than we were last year because I mean we brought in two guys at 6'8", one guy that can really move, really good for his size. So we plan on, I mean, at least when he's in the game after a free throw, putting him right on that ball. And like I said, he's really good laterally, and we hope we can disrupt a lot of passes. So like I said, it worked for us last year. We will be playing a lot more bigger guys, but the guys that we will have in the game, we feel like they can move, and we feel like it's suitable for their style also. So
I love it. Well, Sterling, we look forward to seeing how you guys do this year. I appreciate you jumping on with us today.
man, thanks for having me. My pleasure. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, we're back. We're here with Sammy Doucette, from head coach at Orange Coast College. Sammy, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. It's early in California, but I'm good.
I appreciate you waking up early for us.
Yeah, of course. This is great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on. Excited to learn a little bit more about you. Why don't you start off? Tell us where you're from and kind of how you got into basketball, and then how you got into coaching.
Yeah, so I'm from Orange County, California. Grew up in Irvine, and I've pretty much played basketball, loved basketball since I was second grade. And I went to Vanguard University. I was there for 5 years, redshirted my freshman year. Loved it, had a great time there, loved my team, loved the school, loved the coach, everything. I mean, I really cherished those years.
Where is Vanguard?
Vanguard's in Costa Mesa.
It's in Costa Mesa.
Right down the street from OCC, actually.
Okay.
And then after Vanguard, I was a graduate assistant at Concordia University in Irvine for 1 year. And immediately after that, I was the recruiting coordinator and assistant coach at Hope International University in Fullerton. And then while I was there, I was coaching club basketball. And I made the move to take the head coaching job at Costa Mesa High School, which is right across the street from OCC. And then 1 year later, now I'm at OCC, and this is the first job I've had that's been more than a year, and I plan on making it 30 years or however long I can coach this game. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, you stayed in Southern California the whole time so far, which is very
and I didn't. There was some times where I was looking at a job in Northern California or out of state, and I didn't take the leap. I was like, I'm not moving out of Orange County. This is where I want to coach. This is where I want to raise a family. So I got to do what I have to do to stay here.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. It's hard to do that in coaching, but if you can do it, more power to you.
Sure.
So, okay, you got to take us back. We ask everybody their scouting report. So take us back to the Vanguard days. Give us your scouting report.
Gosh, that's a tough question because, we really emphasize humility at OCC, and you're asking me to basically not be so humble, right? I would think that on my scouting report, it would say, don't let her catch the ball.
You were a bucket getter.
That was what I was on the floor to do. Every game I was face guarded. So that's probably what my scouting report said. I think that's pretty much what it would say. Don't let her catch the ball. And if she does, get ready for a pull-up, and you never know when it's coming, but it's coming.
What positions you play, Sammy? 2, 3?
Yeah, I was a 2-3 and sometimes 4 because I played at the NAI level. So, and I'm about 5'10", 5'11" on a really good day. So I had to play in the post sometimes.
So you could shoot it. You could shoot it out the bounce. I'm sure you could get all the way to the rim and finish. So school basically you scored all 3 levels. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
No need to be humble about that. Most scorers are not humble. So.
I mean, it's tough saying, I don't know, but I mean, it's true. I mean, I really was, that's what I was on the court to do. I wasn't by any means the best defender. I can honestly say that, but I could confidently, when I had the ball in my hands, I was like, I need to get a bucket.
Yeah. What's your career high?
My career high, I want to say it's 30, but I might have a 35-point game, which honestly, I've had teammates with higher career highs. So, yeah, I mean, that's high, but there's much higher than that out there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. We'll move on. I know I'm making you uncomfortable talking about your playing career and yourself. So, okay. So at what point did you already, like, at what point did you know you wanted to coach? Did you always know that you wanted to get into that, or?
Yeah. So, I've always been a realist, and I knew I wasn't going to be in the WNBA. I think that I came to that realization in high school, and I knew that I'm so passionate about basketball. I love it more than anyone. And I was like, I'm going to coach. I started coaching in the 8th grade at the Boys and Girls Club level. And it was kind of a player coach my 5th year at Vanguard, as far as, I was a captain. And I would say that I pretty much knew everything that we could possibly run, coaching decisions that Coach Russ would make, just because I had been in his program for 5 years. So I was, he was saying things from the sidelines in the game. I'm trying to help out our freshmen, things like that. So I knew that I was going to coach after I graduated right away.
Awesome.
I really wanted that.
And how did you get the opportunity at Concordia? Did you know them from your playing career, or?
Well, so Lacey Burns she had just been hired, and, Coach Russ he's great. He's awesome. It's funny, at a coaching clinic, he has a coaching clinic every year around May or June, and he has his players be demonstrators. And I was there, and I remember him basically announcing to all these coaches, right? High school, Division I, Division II, NAIA, from all over. This is Sammy Doucette. She wants to be a coach, so talk to her. And I actually had a coach come up to me in that clinic from Montana and offer me a job. And that's, like I was telling you earlier, I really had to decide, shoot, do I want to move to Montana to start my career? But he also, he got connected with Lacey, and he basically said to her, you need to hire her, and she did. And that's how it all got started.
I love it. And then you go from there to Hope International, which not the easiest job, right? In terms of resources.
Yeah, no, that was not the easiest. Especially it was another rebuild. It was another new staff. So Concordia was a new staff rebuilding a program that was the previous year, like 2-22. And then when I got to Hope, it was another new coach, Beck Flanagan. And I think the year before he got there, they were 5-20. And so we were, a new staff trying to rebuild a program. And he made it easy because he is one of the best recruiters, I think, out there. He just gets it done. I know that's what he did when he was at Loyola in Louisiana. He was a phenomenal recruiter. I think he got the NAIA Assistant Coach of the Year when he was there. Just being able to work under him and watch how he is at every game. He's the only person, I think, on earth who can be in 5 places at once. So yeah, no, it was a really good experience, especially seeing someone with such minimal resources get the job done. I mean, he always has big teams now. He started a JV program there. So yeah, it was really cool to be a part of that.
That's awesome. And then from there, you get the head job right at Costa Mesa High School.
Yeah. I realized really early that assistant coaching wasn't like, I wanted to be a head coach. Remember saying when I was an assistant coach at Hope, I was like, I'm going to be a head coach at the college level in 3 years. And everyone was laughing at me. And part of me didn't necessarily really believe that either. I was like, if I want to do this, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to be really difficult to do, but I want it. I don't want to be an assistant coach. There's a lot of decision-making that comes with being a head coach, and I really wanted to be a part of that. And so I left Hope after 1 year to be a high school head coach, because everyone was telling me, if you want to coach at the college level and be a head coach, or be an assistant coach at the Division I or Division II level, they want to see that you have coached your own program. So I talked to Beck about it, and I went over to Costa Mesa, and that was another program rebuild. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into at the time, but we ended up having an awesome year. We really grew the program, and it was a lot of learning, first time as a head coach. It was great though. And I have actually two of my former players from Costa Mesa High School are freshmen right now at OCC. And it's kind of like they're, returners, they're leaders for me because they know exactly what to expect.
Yeah, that's awesome. What did you learn? Like, what did you not know to expect with that first head job? You mentioned a lot of learning. Like, give us some of the most valuable lessons.
I think that going into a high school varsity program, you kind of are under the impression that getting players is going to be easy, or you're going to have a soft JV team to also look over, and getting coaches to come work for you is going to be easy. And that wasn't, when I got hired, I had 6 players that made up my entire program. And, a lot of them were former JV players. I had at the time maybe 2 of them that were true varsity players, and the others were kind of like the people from the JV team the previous year that had decided to stick around. So just kind of navigating, getting a team together, and just things like making sure we have someone to do scorebook at the table. I mean, I was never at the high school level before as far as coaching. College, that's taken care of. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about officials, none of that stuff. So the administrative stuff that really, Coach Lacey and Coach Beck, they all took care of. Or our athletic department took care of, whereas I'm scheduling buses and things like that. So, fundraising, handling funds and talking to the boosters program, things like that, administrative stuff.
Yeah. So much that like you don't realize goes into it, right?
Oh, so much.
There's like decisions to be made every 2 seconds, and stuff that you may think is like trivial, but someone's got to make the decision and get it done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, in the interview process, they ask you maybe one question about the budget, and I just feel like there should probably be more there. Like there's a lot more handling funds and things like that than I think is stressed, especially when you're going into a program that has nothing, so it's just funny. Like, have you ever done a budget before? Yeah, I've done my own. Well, high school budget is different.
Well, now you're going into your first year at OCC. And so like,
second year.
Oh, I'm sorry. Second year.
This is my second year. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what was like the experience like, you had 1 year at the high school level as a head coach, you got thrown into the fire, learned by experience, and now going into OCC, like any differences, any similarities?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. A lot of similarities, a lot of differences. We have a lot more resources at OCC, of course. So that's huge. My first year at OCC was, it was another one of those, all right, this is what you're getting into scenarios. I had 2 returners, and now this is at the college level where, it's a little bit more serious now to be able to field a team, so to speak. So I was really scrambling. I had a month. I was hired in the last week of June, and I had a little over a month to really get a team together. And my first day of our summer practice or our summer class, I had, a woman in her 40s who hadn't played basketball in 20 years. I had a lot of girls that played JV basketball that were like, well, yeah, this seems cool. I mean, new coach wants me to play college basketball. Sure, I'll try it out. And I just remember thinking, wow, this is my college basketball team. My Costa Mesa High School team could probably run circles around this team. But, and it ended up happening that most of those players fell off. We had luckily we recruited a few more starting fall and ended up with 11 kids, and I really stuck to my guns. And because of that, we ended up having 7 players. 1 got injured, 2 got injured, 3 got injured. So it was a hard year. As far as we had to cancel a lot of games. We won 2 games. We played all but maybe 2 of our games with 5 players, finished a few with 3 on the floor. it was a tough year, but I had a really great team with a really great culture. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know that because that's all I talk about. And then year 2, now we've got 21 players. So it's a different ball game. I've got 21 players. I'm always thinking to myself, why did these kids come play for me? We were 2 and 22 before I got there. Last year, I have kids on campus and they're like, so when's your next game? I'm like, well, we're actually supposed to be playing in like 3 hours, but it got canceled. So that's why I'm here with you. No, in all seriousness, I'm so grateful that they came, and we've been really getting after it, even through this pandemic that we're going through. But I'm so excited for year 2. I hope that we have a season. So
yeah, 21 players. You're making sure you don't have to cancel any games this year, right?
Oh, it's never happening while I'm at OCC. I promise you that.
That's awesome. Okay, can we talk about the last thing? I want to make sure I bring it up. If you're comfortable with it, can we talk about your experience at the Mamba Academy? And, I'm sure it's probably hard to talk about, but like what you learned from working with Kobe and in there.
Yeah. It's funny. A lot of things that I learned from Kobe, and I actually just had a similar conversation. So it's going to be very repetitive, but it wasn't really anything that he said. It was how he was as a person, how he coached. He was super intentional. He treated everyone like they were on his level. He treated me like I was on his level, and I'll never be even close. Most people won't ever be close. And I thought that was just really awesome for someone who is literally looked at by many people as a god, or the closest thing to a god. And he remembered conversation. He would, if I told him, hey, this weekend I'm going to go snowboarding, when I saw him next Wednesday, he would say, how was snowboarding? He remembered that stuff. And you don't really expect that from someone of his stature, to really try to know you as a human being. And then obviously, in his coaching, he pays so much attention to detail, and he stresses the why. Like, he's telling these 5th graders at the time when we first started why they are doing everything that they're doing. And by the time they get to 8th grade, they have it down, and he would always say they're like sponges. They soak everything up. We would do the most basic, boring drills for like 20 minutes, just partner passing. And I just remember going up to him and being like, so what are we going to do next? Well, we have about 15 minutes left of this. I'm like, and I wasn't afraid to like kind of poke the bear with him. So that's what we're going to do for 15 minutes. And he'd be like, Sammy, like, trust the process. Think long term. We'd get killed by, 40, 20 points. And he would say, that's fine. We'll play them in 2 years. And, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong at all. 2 years later, they're beating those teams to beat them by 40, 20, by 50. He posted that one picture on his Instagram. That was the team that killed them. When they won like 100 to whatever the score was. So yeah, I wouldn't say that he taught me the triangle offense, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah?
As far as, X's and O's, he drilled the triangle into these kids, and he could. We had him for 5 days a week. But more so than like basketball, it was how he coached, how he acted, how he walked, how he talked. It was really something awesome that I got to observe. I wasn't even watching basketball most of the time. I was just watching him. It was.
That's awesome. Incredible. So you guys run triangle at OCC?
We messed around with it last year, and the only reason why is because I had 5 players at best. So I wasn't trying to play fast, and you don't really have to play fast with the triangle. It's pretty slow. So yeah, last year we couldn't press or be pressed. We were really just trying to run an offense through the entire shot clock to kind of conserve ourselves a little bit. And the triangle gives you lots of options, lots of reads. So yeah, but we're not going to do that this year.
No, I gotcha. Well, I'm excited to see what you guys do this year. Do you have a start date? And are you guys, I know California has been one of the most, conservative. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
With coronavirus, probably rightfully so. But I know you're
Yeah.
anxious to get your team on the floor. But what's the plan?
So the plan is, and as far as I'm concerned, the 3C 2A is still moving forward with this plan. Is that we officially start season January 18th. Right now, my biggest concern isn't season. My biggest concern is being able to see my team in the same building with basketballs, because I feel like that is going to be very telling for us. If we aren't allowed to do that for, till December, then I'm going to really be questioning if we're going to be able to have a season, because I don't know how we could have our first official basketball practice in December and then play a month later. But at the same time, just about every other school in California is in the same boat. So who knows? Maybe it is a possibility.
Well, we wish you guys the best of luck. I'm excited to see what you can do with 21 players as opposed to
Me too.
5 or less. Appreciate you being on today and learning a little bit more about you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.